guys, this is JordiYogi, and today I have a yoga class for tattoo artists and people who work with their hands a lot. So we're going to start at the top of our mat, inhaling the arms up, exhaling, coming forward and down, inhaling, come halfway up, exhaling, planting the hands and going down into plank, and then inhale up into cobra. So we're going to warm up our upper body and then pushing back into downward dog, stretching our legs. And then stepping up, and then inhaling halfway up, exhaling, coming back down, and then inhaling, coming all the way up, sweeping the arms up overhead, and then exhaling the arms into heart center. So we're going to repeat this sequence a couple of times, just getting our whole body warmed up and flexible. Now inhaling halfway up, and then as you exhale, plant the hands and make your way back into a plank, however you'd like to do that. And then when you're on your belly, you push yourself up into cobra, either on the elbows or the arms, depends how you feel. And then exhaling to come down and push up back to your downward dog and pedal your legs out here. And then come up, you can either hop as I did or step, or you can walk it up. We're just hanging here, and then inhale, the arms come up and then down into heart center again. And then inhale, arms up, exhale, hands go down, hinging at the hips, letting gravity do the work here as we just hang over. You can hold your elbows, and then just when you're ready, inhale, come halfway up, exhale, plant the hands, make your way back to plank, and slowly come down and then up into a cobra. So we're going to start on our elbows here, and then if you feel flexible enough, you can go up onto your arms. The further out in front of you the arms are, the less of a stretch it is. The further in they are, the more of a stretch you're getting in your lower back. So just breathing here, we're going to hold this pose for another 30 seconds. So just breathe and feel release here. Now we're going to slowly come down and then push into our arms to bring us back to child's pose, where we're going to reverse that curve in our spine. Where it was bowed before, now it is arched. Now we're going to come up onto our hands and knees, and then we're going to push up into downward dog. Just pedal it out, feel it out. Now we're going to inhale our right leg up, and then we're going to bring it through and try and get it in the middle of our hands. And then we're going to come into a lunge and inhale our arms up into warrior pose. From here we're going to exhale and bring our chest to the side and our arms out in front. And then we're going to drop our right arm on our right knee and inhale our left arm up, feeling a nice stretch from the little left toe right up to the pinky of our left hand. Breathing into the side of the body here. And then inhaling to come back out. And then we're going to shift our toes around, and we're going to come bringing our chest to the front. And now we're going to exhale, and we're going to do a side stretch, stretching to our opposite side. This may be uncomfortable and challenging to our balance, but we just breathe. If you're able to, bring your eyesight over to your back hand. And then exhaling, we'll bring our hands, frame the foot. And now we're going to go into a low lunge. So from here you can put the knee on the mat. And we're just going to sit in a lunge and feeling that nice stretch. If you like the extra challenge, warm up those legs a bit more, you can lift the knee off the mat and just use your legs to support you here. Now frame the foot and bring it back to a downward dog. Now pedaling the legs out here, resetting before taking the left leg up and bringing it in between the hands, taking it to the other side. So we're going to inhale and go straight to our warrior pose, looking over our left fingertips. We'll drop our left hand on our knee, our thigh, and inhale our right arm over, breathing into the side of our body, stretching from the little toe on our right foot all the way up to the little finger on our left arm. Trying not to collapse but to lift. We're going to reset, come back to our warrior pose, and then we're going to shift through, have our chest facing the front. Then we'll exhale and bring that side twist on to the other side. Challenging our balance, stretching, and just breathing here. Keeping the sight either in front of you, to the side, or if you'd like the challenge, you can even look back. Now resetting, and now we're going to drop down to our lunge. So I like to have my arms on my front leg. We drop the knee to the mat. However, if you'd like to increase the heat and bring your knee up, that is also an option. And then framing our foot and stepping it back into downward dog. Pedaling it out before we come back to our knees on the mat. Here we are with our knees below our hips and our hands below our shoulders. We're going to do some cat-cows. So inhaling, arching the back, bring our chin up, and exhaling, rounding the cat like an angry cat, and pushing the hands into the floor. We're going to repeat this a few times. So we've been warming up our body so far, warming up our legs, our hips, and even our spine. Now we're going to focus on our wrists. So we're getting a bit more focused, a bit more specific. So we're going to put our wrists out in front of us, below our shoulders, and tuck our toes underneath. And then we're just going to push the wrists into the mat and slowly lean forward and back, feeling a nice stretch in your wrists and in your forearms. We can also go in a circular motion over our wrists, so you can go clockwise, just working all the little parts of our wrists, and then going counterclockwise, just getting everything a bit loose. So now we're going to come back, and we'll do this quite often, but we're just going to shake out the wrists. Another option when you come back is to sit on your toes, and that way you're making the most of your time and also stretching the toes. So now we're going to come back on our wrists and put our wrists facing out to the side, so we have our wrists in the middle and our fingers pointing out to the side. And now we're just shifting our weight from side to side, being gentle and careful when we're doing this. We don't want to force it, we're just taking the slack out. So here you go, continue doing the exercise. I'm just showing you how you want your hands on the mat as you're shifting your weight side to side. So now we're going to come back. You can sit on your toes if you like, stretching our feet, and we're going to shake our wrists up and down, not side to side, but up and down. Now we're going to go into our next stretch. So our fingers are going to be pointing towards us. It's like this exercise we all know, but instead we're doing it on our knees. So we have our forearms straight, elbows straight, and we just feeling that nice stretch. And when we come out of the stretch, we do one hand first and then turn the other hand. Not forcing at all in this, just feeling a nice stretch, taking the slack out of our wrists and forearms. If you like an even deeper stretch, you can shift your hips back, and by doing so, you're taking even more slack out, but remember to never force. And now to come out, we turn one hand, and then we turn the other one, and then we come back, sitting on our toes or our heels, however you prefer, and shake the wrists out, releasing all the tension. So now we're going to work the fingers. So what we're doing is we're putting our hands flat and we're lifting the palm of our hand. And this is really quite a workout for our fingers, strengthening them and giving us flexibility for all the things we have to do in our daily lives with our hands, whether it be at work or even at home. We're not forcing this, it's just an exercise to strengthen and lengthen. So now we're going to come up and shake our hands out again, letting go of that tension in the wrists. Our next exercise is for our thumbs, so we give ourselves the thumbs up and then we stick the thumbs in our lower back, in our hips, and then we just bring our hands forward a bit, taking the slack out. You may have seen this exercise before. It's just a really great exercise you can do anywhere, even at work, to release a bit of tension from the thumbs. The next exercise will be sitting on our knees or cross-legged, and we bring our left hand in front of us and we take our right hand, we clasp it, and then we take a bit of slack out towards us. So we're bending the wrist slightly, and then we also take rotational slack. So we're taking slack out to the side. So essentially we're tilting our right hand forward a bit, and then we're tilting it clockwise to take that extra slack out. But not forcing this, just doing it until you feel a stretch. This is a great exercise. I was prescribed by my physiotherapist when I was having issues with RSI, because I'm a guitar player, and during my last years at university I had lots of issues with it. So now let's shake our hands out and take it to the other side. So we've got our right arm straight in front of us, and then we're clasping our arm with our left hand and taking slack out towards us, so the fingers pointing towards us, and also taking rotational slack out, so slightly turning counterclockwise. You can apply even more rotational slack after, say, 30 seconds of doing the exercise. You can take even more slack out and get a deeper stretch. Now releasing that and shaking our hands out. Now we're going to go onto our crossed legs, sitting on our bum, and we're going to take our right hand, put it on our left knee, and then our left hand, we're going to put that behind us. And we're going to inhale, get a straight spine, and exhale, come round to the side. Another option we have is to do the Lord of the Fishes pose, which we take our right leg and put it over our left knee, and then we take our left arm, put it over our right knee, and take the slack out and turn to the side that way. This is a more advanced pose and more intense. Depends where you're at. You can choose either of the two variations. Now exhaling to come back to center. If you were sitting cross-legged, just reverse the cross of the legs. If you were doing King of the Fishes pose, you bring your right leg in, left foot over the right knee, and then you bring your right arm over the left knee, and you can either clasp your toes, your shin, or the toes on your other foot. And just exhaling to come round, making sure you have a straight spine and not forcing. This obviously makes our insides a bit wound up and restricts our lungs, so we want to make sure, very important, that we continue to breathe openly here, even though our capacity for breath is restricted. Now exhale to come round to the front and bring your legs out if you like, give them a shake. So now we're going to work into our shoulders, upper back, and our forearms. So you're going to need a strap for this part. A belt will do, a martial art belt or even a normal belt. Anything you can hold on to, some rope. So we're going to stick our hands out to the side, and as if we were pushing into two walls, we pull our fingers back as if we wanted to touch our head with our fingers and push the heels of our hands out into those imaginary walls, making ourselves big and keeping the tension in our arms here. Now we're going to keep our arms extended, but we're going to reverse it by dropping our fingers, and as if we wanted to touch our armpits with our fingers, keeping our arms straight and feeling a nice stretch through the top of our forearms. Remembering to breathe here, keeping our chest open but not sticking our ribs out, keeping those in, keeping our core engaged. Now we're just going to bring our arms down and shake them out a bit and give ourselves a few shoulder rolls. Just bring it up, back and down. Maybe you'd like as well to do a few neck rolls, one way and the other way. So now we're going to take the arms and do the same exercise again, pushing into those imaginary walls. As we're doing this, we're getting some flexibility, but also we're engaging the muscles of the back that support us during our work and engaging all the muscles in our hands and wrists. We're also learning active flexibility, so we're not just using the ground to stretch our fingers back, but we're using our muscles to keep our hands back. Now bring our fingers in as if we were touching our armpits, but keeping our arms really straight. This pose reminds me of how a monkey would sit with his hands rounded. This is a very good pose for strengthening and stretching. Now we're going to let that go and shake it out. And again, roll our shoulders and our neck if you'd like that, to release some tension before we go into our next pose. So our next pose, we grab our band in front of us and then we turn our elbows so that our forearms are facing up. Then we slowly lift the band over our head, keeping tension in the band the whole time we're doing this. I have a very small band here. I was using the case of my tripod. Ideally you'll have something a bit longer so your arms can be further apart than this, only slightly though. And just bringing the arms up, keeping the ribs in and the abs engaged, and breathing here. When you come down, you can turn your elbows in so your forearms are down again, and then turn them up when you start the movement again. Now this may be a bit intense, but it's what we need to support us in our work. And then letting that tension go and rolling the shoulders up, back and down. Now if you're feeling invigorated by this exercise, I invite you to come and do it one last time with me. Otherwise, you can just take a rest here if it's too much before we go into our next exercise. Now we can put our band to the side and roll our shoulders and take a big sigh of relief. Our next exercise again is with the band. We're going to bring our arms up and then go to one side. With a longer band, you can let your arm, the one that is lower on the band, be lower and guiding your top arm over to the side. Whilst you're in this position, try and keep your sit bones on the floor and try and lengthen rather than collapse. We're going to take it to the other side, feeling that nice stretch in the side of our body, in the shoulders, breathing into that side, and we're just using the weight of the other arm to pull and deepen the stretch. Now we're going to take the band in our right hand and we're going to inhale it overhead, and then with our left hand we're going to reach back and round until we can find that band. And then once we have both hands on the band, we're trying to keep our shoulders open and feel a nice stretch in our shoulders, and maybe you can find the space in the shoulders to bring your hands a bit closer to each other, deepening the stretch. Just breathing here and keeping those ribs in, so not sticking them out and arching our back too much. Now exhale and come out. So now you may have your band in your left arm, so we just do the same thing on the other side. Maybe you'll find that one side is far more flexible than the other and your hands can come closer to each other, whereas on the other side, maybe not so. That's completely fine. We're just trying to get better by stretching and taking care of our bodies. Now exhale and roll the shoulders. They should feel quite loose and nice after that exercise. Now we're going to come onto our knees. And what we're going to do is clasp our hands behind our back, interlacing our fingers, and then slowly bring our forehead to the ground. If you need a pillow to rest your head on, that is fine as well. And then you just bring those arms behind and over you, letting gravity do the work, and maybe using a bit of muscle to push them down, and feeling a nice stretch in the front of your shoulders. And now we're going to bring our arms down by our sides and push into the floor to bring our head up. Our next stretch is a bit like a shark. So we're bringing our hands and elbows together on the mat, and then we bring our hands over the head like we were a shark. That's our shark fin up there. And if you'd like a deeper stretch, shift your hips back. If you like a milder stretch, then bring your hips forward. This is one of my favorite stretches. It stretches into the upper back, into the lats, the shoulder blades, the tricep. And now we're going to shift forward and then come back down into a child's pose. As well, you can push into the fingers to deepen that stretch into the armpits and shoulders. Now we're going to go over to the left side, back to the middle, and then over to the right. Feeling a nice stretch in the shoulder of our left side, and then inhaling to slowly come back up. Now we're going to clasp our hands behind us. You can clasp your wrists, your forearms, or your elbows, and just opening the chest and breathing here. Again, keeping the ribs in. Now sitting here cross-legged with a straight spine, we're going to do some stretches for our neck. So we're going to tilt our neck over to the left side We're going to take our left arm and place it on the side of our head, and we're not pulling at all, we're just using the weight of that arm to lengthen the neck. Also, we want to keep the shoulder either in its place or pull it down. We don't want it pulled up. If you pull it down, you're creating a deeper stretch in the neck, and if you're keeping it in the same place, that is fine too. Now we're gonna reach for our jawline and bring our chin up a little bit. Now, if you can't reach your jawline, that's okay. Just try and angle your chin up a bit, and then you'll feel the stretch go more into your collarbone, the front of your neck, and maybe down into your chest as well. Now from here we're going to bring our chin down to our armpit, as if we were trying to sniff our armpit, and then we bring our hand on the back of our head and just again let the weight of our arm pull it down, and you'll feel a nice stretch in your upper back and in your neck. Now we're going to reset and take that to the other side, so dropping our neck to the right shoulder, bringing the right arm up, resting it on the left side of our head, and it's just acting as a passive weight there, no pulling, just using the weight of that arm to get a deeper stretch. Again, we're going to angle our chin up a little bit and bring that stretch deeper into our collarbone and the front of our neck. Now we're going to smell our other armpit. One might be smellier than the other. And then we're going to put the hand on the back of our neck and just rest it there, stretching the back of our neck, even the back of our shoulder. You might feel this in the back of your left shoulder. Now letting that go, and you can roll your shoulders, shake your wrists. Now we're going to take our hands and put them over the top of our head, interlace the fingers and bring the elbows together, and then again, no pulling, just resting the weight of our arms on the back of our head and stretching the back of our neck. Completely relaxed, breathing and letting gravity do all the work here. Now just releasing that, bringing our neck up, rolling our shoulders if we'd like. Now we're going to bring our chin to our chest and do big slow circles in one direction. When your chin reaches your chest, on your next circle, then reverse the circle the other way. You may hear a series of cracks, that's fine. Just remember to breathe and feel how nice your neck feels now after all those stretches. And when your chin reaches the bottom on your next circle, bring your chin and your head back up. Now rolling down onto our back, we're going to do a side stretch. You can either cross your legs or keep them side by side. So stretching the arms out to the side and letting your legs fall to one side and looking the opposite way from which your legs have gone. And just breathing here, feeling that nice stretch. You may even get some really nice relieving cracks in your lower back. And now bring the legs back up. If your legs were crossed, reversing that cross, otherwise just dropping them to the other side and then looking over to the opposite side, trying to look at your fingertips of that hand. Now bring our legs back up to the middle and then just letting them fall down, letting our feet splay to the side and leaving our arms out to our sides, and just relaxing in Shavasana for our final relaxation. The video will continue to play for about a minute here, but I invite you to stay longer and just feel how great you feel for taking some time out for yourself, recharging and relaxing. Thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste. This has been JordiYogi, and I invite you to continue relaxing and have a lovely day.